Nice. Okay. Fashion book.
Welcome to the Fashion Book Show 2009, featuring the amazing works of the acclaimed Mr. Chris Van Allsburg. Today we will focus on 10 of his beautifully written and illustrated stories that have won their ways into many homes and hearts. So without further ado, let's begin the show. First on our runway is 1982 Caldecott winner Jumanji. Created in 1981, this exciting tale presents the story of two children who embark on an ordinary board game to find their adventure to be anything but ordinary. Before we know it, the charcoal pencil images have come to life, presenting zoo animals in the living room of a suburban family. Jumanji then surprised its fans with the 1995 movie release starring Robin Williams. Thank you, Jumanji. Next, we have the brilliant work of the Polar Express. Created in 1985, its beautiful cover is accented in the 1986 Caldecott Award. This popular Christmas story then hit the big screen in 2004, starring Tom Hanks as a voiceover in the computer animation. This is a full-color narrative giving readers of all ages something to believe in. We appreciate your appearance today. Thank you, Polar Express. I See the Sweetest Fig is our next book on the runway. This 1993 story about a dentist who finds his dreams coming true after eating special figs is sure to give you something to think about. The illustrations contribute to the overall message with such intricate detail and a limited color palette. The sweetest fig, you are a delight. Look who's coming down the runway now. It's none other than Jumanji's sequel, Zathura. Continued in the same format of Jumanji with charcoal pencil, we explore the world of a new set of siblings who get captured by the powers of a space-themed board game. With danger and uncertainty increasing with every roll of the dice, readers cannot help but be enthralled by the detailed illustrations and the intense storyline. Thank you for attending, Zathura. The Stranger is spreading itself down now. With all of its lifelike paintings, Van Allsburg does not disappoint readers with his unique artistic style. This 1986 New York Times Best Illustrated story presents the audience with a tale of a stranger that encounters a life-altering event and then proves to bring positive change to those that care for him. The Stranger, your participation today is appreciated. With all of the charm of an alphabet book, here comes The Z Was Zapped. 1987 was fortunate enough to see the completed book of this distinct charcoal pencil story filled with magic and subtitled A Play in 26 Acts. Van Allsburg managed to still engage readers of all ages, even with a book that revolves around the alphabet. The Z Was Zapped, thank you for gracing us with your presence. How lucky we are to have The Widow's Broom and the Spanish version of this story, La Escoba de la Viuda. 1992 has produced this fantastic tale of a broom that has lost the power of flight and is now abandoned. With engaging text and amazing illustrations, The Widow's Broom is a surefire hit amongst readers of all ages. The sepia-colored pages filled with oversized drawings are so precise that readers will be intrigued by his perfection. What a joy it is to have you with us, Widow's Broom and La Escoba de la Viuda. The Wreck of the Zephyr and El Naufragio del Zafiro are last but not least in our fashion book show. The first full-color book of Van Allsburg is created with pastels over paint, creating large, eye-catching pages. This captivating story within a story is about a young sailor who uses powers to save himself when his ship is stranded on an island. 1982 is happy to claim this story as one of the year's best. Thank you, Wreck of the Zephyr and El Naufragio del Zafiro. This concludes our Fashion Book Show 2009 featuring the works of Chris Van Allsburg. I am so thrilled that you attended this magnificent display of art and literature. I am certain that you will further investigate these and other Chris Van Allsburg classics. Thank you again, and strike a pose. Woo! And I'm going to put a pause on the music, maybe.
Mute it.
Oh, that's good. Okay. And we'll go right here to these pictures. And thank you guys for coming. That was fabulous. So this is pictures of Chris Van Allsburg. And that's his child helping him with the Badsy at Riverbend. And Jumanji, which is, I put them in order of the order that we saw them here, just so you could get a better, some of those are older books, so these are the newer versions with their Caldecott medals on them. Polar Express, this is the only work actually I knew that he did before this project. Sweetest Fig, I love it. Zathura, which turns out there's some film about that as well. The Stranger, The Z Was Zapped. and then The Widow's Broom, and The Wreck of the Zephyr. Just a little bit about information about him is he did lie to get into art school, which is kind of cool. He was going to Michigan, and then it was time to continue which he was in high school when he got the interview for going to college, and he didn't really know any of the programs. He didn't know what he wanted to study, and so the admissions counselor started asking him, well, what do you want to do? And he kind of looked around, he's like, art. And they go, well, what kind of background do you have? We're sorry, you can't come in, you did not take any art in high school. And he's like, yeah, I did, but they told me I was so good, I didn't have to take the high school classes, and instead I took a whole lot of private classes, so it doesn't show up on my transcript, but believe you me, I'm good for it, so they let him in. And then he ended up getting his master's degree in fine arts from Rhode Island School of Design. However, it was mostly in sculpting, and he did a lot of 3D work, like model airplanes and things like that. He didn't have any expertise or experience whatsoever when it came to painting. And I also put on here that it takes about 7 months for him to make a book, 7 to 8 months. And those are the sources I use. ChrisVanAllsburg.com is his website, really fun site, it's interactive. And then his biography page that I went to, a ton of information, and they cite most of it from him or books that are reliable sources. And then this Rupert.net one I went to as well. So any questions on my man? I know everything there is to know about him.
Tell me about the dog.
The dog, I put that on here as well, a little handout that everybody got. I list the complete list of works, which is something else that's kind of interesting in here is that like the books like Swan Lake and The Veil of Snows and A City in Winter, those were actually written by a man named Mark Helprin, and he did a series of work, and those were the books in the series, and he had asked him to illustrate, and that's the only time he's illustrated outside of authoring his own stuff. I also have on there a little key that shows the Caldecott winners, Caldecott honors, and New York Times Best Illustrated, so he's very acclaimed. And the mediums I go over on the next column is charcoal pencil, dry and oil pastels, Crayfos crayons, colored pencils, and paint. And then the first thing on there about what to do with his books is to look for that dog. He's got a little English bull terrier in every single book. The very first book that he did was The Garden of Abdul Ghazazi, and that book was one of like the little characters in it. Well, it turns out that he loved the dog so much he ended up putting that dog in every book, even if it's just a mystery. Like on one page you'll see a little dog face in the corner that has nothing to do with anything. And it turns out he didn't even have that dog. A lot of people thought maybe that was like his old best friend or something, but he just thought it was a cool looking dog. And so when his brother-in-law wanted to get a dog, he's like, we're looking into one. He's like, you gotta get this one so I can draw good pictures of it. And so his friend's like, okay, I guess so. So he got that dog, and that dog ended up being his model. And another thing you can do with his books are talk about the difference of the artistic schemes, because some of them are in sepia only, some are in grayscale because his first works were only pencil and charcoal pencil. And then like The Wreck of the Zephyr being the first full color book. So you can talk about how his artwork changes. I would say the major theme behind all of it is the expect the unexpected and mystery and magic, because a lot of his drawings will make you just wonder. You look at it and you're just like, wow, there's so much going on that you can't see, or so much you can imagine just by looking at the picture. So I think it's a really great illustrator and author, and he was exciting to study. Any more questions?
Did he have any like writing background?
No, in fact, he was an illustrator first, and all of his books are fully thought in his head as pictures, and then he applies the words to them later. It's kind of interesting. And that's how he determines what kind of medium to use, is whenever he thinks of the pictures in his head, the way he thinks of them is the way he draws them. So if he thinks of them in full color, that's how they'll come out. If he thinks of them in black and white, that's how they come out. So his wife actually encouraged him to go that route, because her friend was Mr. Mark Macaulay, who did the black and white book that we read earlier.
David Macaulay.
Oh, I'm sorry, David Macaulay, yes. He was friends with Chris Van Allsburg's wife, and so he came over one day, saw his pictures, and said, you know what, you could put some cool words with these and make great books. So that's how he got his start doing this. So good, yay.